we talk a little bit about driving to and from work. And for some people, it's a little bit of a pain in the backside. And for others, it's pretty much a breeze. And joining me right now on the program is a very rare individual to come across, simply because of the fact that he's one of the very few Israeli drivers that comprises the first Israeli racing team in Formula Racing. His last race was the winter race in the Italian F4, and prior to that, he also partook in the second annual Jerusalem Formula Roadshow. That event was in October, where he drove an F3 car. Let's welcome to the program Bar Baruch. Bar, how are you?
Hi, hello, how are you?
Thank God, very well. So a lot of people don't necessarily understand what Formula Racing is all about. I mean, we hear big names that we've come across over the years, the Michael Schumachers, more recently Sebastian Vettel, and of course, I think Formula One really hit a chord with the average person with the movie Rush, which really, when you watch it and you see the aspect of Formula One outside of just the actual racetrack, can you walk some of the listeners through what goes into being a Formula race car driver, go through the ranks of, Formula 4, Formula 3. Some people didn't even know that those levels existed. They just thought it was Formula 1, and that's it.
Yep. I'm an Israeli racing driver in the Formula 4 in the FIA Championship. And like you say, it's not only to be a driver, there's a lot of outside stuff that you have to do to be professional. And for the start, you have to be fit as well. You have to be athletic and to know how to eat correctly, like a sportsman, to know how to manage your life, to be a race driver.
You talk about being fit and being, in shape. And, of course, we also have on the line Elliot Bank, who basically is Bar Baruch's strength and conditioning coach. He's the guy who's there for Bar outside of the track, has everything to do with him that has nothing to do with racing. And Elliot, welcome to the program. Talk to the listeners a little bit about what goes into the regimen for an athlete such as Bar to make him ready for race day.
First of all, thank you, Yossi, for having us. It's interesting. When it comes to Formula Racing, people don't understand. They think everyone drives a car. Everyone we know drives a car. So they think, good, when these guys drive a car, they go a little bit faster, they go around the track. What they don't understand, especially with Formula Racing, is that these are some of the best athletes in the world. I've run marathons before. I've lifted weights before. These guys have to be strong, and they have to be fit. Their hearts are beating just as fast and as hard as mine during a marathon. There's adrenaline. They lose a lot of sweat when they race, which means that their hearts have to beat a little bit faster because they're losing their liquid, so their blood is a little bit thicker. They're holding these positions. They have these forces working against them. They're outside, and they have these G-forces that are going really fast. So they have to be able to hold certain positions and get in good positions and good posture while they're driving and hold it the whole time. So there's a lot that goes on out of the car. And Bar can tell you, most of his training, whether it's strength and conditioning or even practicing for driving, doesn't happen in the car. Most of it is actually out of the car. It's all year round, and it's interesting. There's also very little track time. They don't get a lot of track time. So any time they get, they need to do their best. And then, like Bar was saying, it's not just about being strong and fit. It's about recovering, and it's about living a whole lifestyle that's around health to be as good as you can be. So we track, Bar's sleep. We track his eating. We track his what's called heart rate variability, which tells us how well he's recovering from his workouts. So we know when to push him and when to back off and when to recover.
So, Bar, can you also walk me through, because when you think of Israel, and you think of it as a small country, relatively speaking to a lot of the countries surrounding it, and in this sport, the big countries, the big nationalities that we always take hand in hand with Formula Racing is England, Italy, Germany. How is it that you got involved in this sport?
Like, Israel is the motorsport level is very low. So, yes, it is a bit difficult because, I come into the race and all of the other guys did a lot of track times, and for me it's not possible to train. Yes, but it's the passion for the motorsport thing that I'm doing it.
Sure. The fact that there's been this Jerusalem series for a couple of years now, do you see that Formula racing has grown a little bit in Israel, that the interest from fans perhaps has grown because they know now that there is a local team, there's an Israeli team that is competing as well?
I know that the people in Israel are really like racing, and they really hope to see the Formula One in Israel. But for the moment, we have no tracks. And what was in Jerusalem, it was only a roadshow. So, yes, I think it's possible to bring the Formula One to Israel, but it's still a lot of work.
Right, I understand it'll probably take some time till a track gets built, until the interest in mainstream media in Israel is so much where it will basically force the hand for the development of Formula racing beyond just what they have right now. How does it work in terms of progression, in terms of going from F4 to F3? Can you walk us through, perhaps, for some who may not know exactly how it works, how would you graduate from Formula 4, where you are right now, to Formula 3? What does it take to get to the next level?
Okay, for now I'm racing in the Formula 4, and for me the best way is to go like 2 years in each category, so you can learn a lot from the Formula 4 to be prepared for the Formula 3. The difference with the cars is not so big because they look the same, they have the same layout, but the powerful of the engine is the difference. You have to be a good driver in the low categories, so you can feel the powerful cars, and when you feel ready, you can go up.
So when you have things like the Jerusalem, the race series,
yes,
and you drove a Formula 3 car, how did that feel for you? Was it any different than the regular car that you drive?
A difference between the cars. It's more powerful with the engine and the brakes. And yes, it's amazing to drive a Formula car in Jerusalem. It's an amazing feeling. It's like a dream come true.
I totally understand that. We're here on Sports Talk with the Sports Rabbi here on All Noise Radio, powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, with Bar Baruch, one of the very few people to be on the first Israeli Formula racing team, and of course his strength and conditioning coach on with us as well, Elliot Bank. Elliot, when you look at somebody like Bar, and you obviously see and you hear the aspirations for him wanting to get better in the sport and progress through the ranks, get into a more higher level of racing, what does that entail for you as a strength and conditioning coach for him to ensure that off the track he will have the best ability to take what he does in the gym, outside the gym, and put it all together to make sure he gets to the podium on the track?
I just want to first add, Bar was actually invited to join Formula 3 this coming year, but I think it was a wise decision with 1 year under his belt in Formula 4 to stay in Formula 4. But, when I first met Bar, we talked a little bit about, how he felt while he raced, but his feelings were where he felt he was weak. So that's where we started. Obviously, as a strength and conditioning coach, you need to understand and research what is needed to demands of any sport. You have to analyze the physical demands, the mental demands, and know what is needed. And we started from there. So we discussed where he thought his weaknesses were. And then, the first couple of sessions we had together were basically just assessments to see where Bar stands, both in the way he moves, the way he holds his body. And we started from there. So we start with a basic general strength program for him. And we'll be moving more very race specific as we get closer to the season. As in, any good program should, start with more general and go as you get towards the season, you get more specific towards the actual sport. So that's where we're moving towards, and we're hoping and we're pretty sure that it's going to make a big difference for Bar this coming year, and we'll hopefully see some podiums ahead.
That definitely sounds like a plan. Bar Baruch, of course, the first race, the beginning of the 2015 F4 racing season. It starts in May. And from all of us here at Sports Talk with the Sports Rabbi, we wish both you and your coach, Elliot, both of you, much success ahead.